What's up, y'all? So we're finished our last practice before we leave, and I'm so excited.
People are still confused that women play rugby, and I think that's a part of the message too for girls, is like, you can play rough sport.
Today, we're speaking with two-time Olympian U.S. rugby star Ariana Ramsey. She's a fitness trainer, a Dartmouth alum, and she's really passionate about growing the game of rugby. I'm really pumped for you to hear our conversation because, well, go Dartmouth, but more importantly, because she shares really important lessons about working on a team. Here she is.
Hi, I'm Ariana Ramsey. I'm in San Diego right now at the training center, this beautiful building that we're in. So I started playing rugby in high school. It was actually really random. I was with one of my best friends and we were set up. They had all these stands set up for different things that you can join. We had no idea what rugby was, but the group of girls were these big cheerleaders who were really yo, come out and play rugby, come out and play rugby. So we were okay, we'll sign up, because they were so excited. So we signed up. We went to the first practice and we're okay, this is cool. And then we started playing, and it reminded me of capture the flag. It was just so fun. And I was people do this professionally? I was oh, I could do this, because I was looking for a sport to do other than track. I was getting so bored and so tired of track. And then rugby came along and I was oh my gosh, perfect timing. So I didn't want to go to college for track. I was I don't want to run for the rest of my life. So yeah, that's kind of how that played out. And I just stuck with rugby, and here I am. Went to college for it, and now I'm playing here.
You just mentioned you're going to college for rugby. What do you study?
So I graduated in 23, and I studied economics. Yeah. Ooh. And my minor was Chinese. So I like business, relations, international. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry, I'm jumping in, but are you able to work right now as you're playing rugby, or are you just focusing solely on rugby right now?
No, I wish. It's really hard to find a remote job that you can't fully be committed to. So yeah, I wish I could do both, but I haven't been able to find something outside of it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So connect the dots for us. So you graduated with an economics degree in Chinese. How did you get to where you are today?
So I guess back to high school, I started to get invited to club teams, big club events where coaches would go to scout USA coaches, college coaches. And then I went to the Junior Olympics. We played there in Vegas. We didn't do well. We didn't make it to the actual Olympics. We didn't get through the trial. So that's when I started to realize okay, I could actually go to the Olympics for this. I might as well go to college for it. Yeah, and then I played at Dartmouth, did really well, became the captain my senior year. And then, I did take the year off to go to the Olympics, because during the COVID year, everything was online.
I know that Tokyo didn't go the way that you expected. So for those who haven't been following your journey, tell us about what happened there.
Yeah, but it didn't go as expected for many reasons. Our placement was not where we wanted to go. There were no fans there. I tore my ACL. So it was a lot going on, I would say. But yeah, the ACL was really random. Obviously, I wasn't expecting that, but it took me out for a year. But I mean, I was going back to college anyway. So then I was able to still play in my college season. So, I mean, I kind of just look at it as a little mini bump in the road now, at least. In the moment, it was obviously hard, but the Olympics without the fans. May, were you at that Olympics?
Well, because I'm a figure skater, it's ours was Beijing, so it was maybe a few months after Tokyo. I did not experience Olympics without fans, and I cannot imagine what it was like for you, because I'm well, that's what makes it so unique, is that you get all those fans and you can be with all those countries, people from all around the world. And I feel you didn't get to experience any of that because you were all separated and isolated. So how was that for you?
When we played at the Olympics, it just felt like a practice. It was so weird. It felt like a major practice. But you knew that people were watching on the TV, though. I will say that. I did feel a big presence that people were watching on the big screen, because you see yourself running out And I'm like, oh shoot, like this is probably everywhere right now. So I was thinking about that in that regard. And I will say the pressure was still the same.
I want to ask you a question as a non-Olympian dealing with pressure. So you mentioned the pressure when you get onto that Olympic stage. What tips would you give for people? I mean, people feel pressure on a daily basis, but obviously competing at the Olympics is a whole separate level. What are your coping mechanisms for dealing with that?
I would say connecting with my teammates, like just trying to, like, are you feeling the same thing that I'm feeling? Just trying to like connect with them and stay as present as I can and take it like moment by moment. Because the reason that I'm anxious is because I'm thinking about like what's going to happen. And it's honestly like the more prepared I am, the less anxious I'll be. And that'll take more of the pressure off. So if I could just keep preparing now and like front loading my work, then I'll be less stressed once I get there because I know that I'm prepared. I know that I put the work in. We do a lot of stuff with our sports psychologist who's probably going to like help us mentally prepare for this because the pressure is real.
How was the after Olympics for you? Like mentally, physically, and how were you able to recover from it?
I did sleep for like 2 days straight right after, like when I got home. But yeah, so I feel like the high was still there. Everybody was still like reaching out. Stuff was still on the news, but I had to like sleep for literally 2 days because we're really like training. It's still work all throughout the time that we're training there. So, and the traveling too, oh my gosh. But yeah, I was definitely exhausted and I had to get surgery like a couple weeks after. So I needed rest and then I vacationed and then I got surgery and then I pretty much rest for another 6 months. So it's kind of how my process went.
The after Olympics is not something we talk enough about, but personally, after my first Olympics, I was like, what is going on? Because you go to the biggest event of your sporting career, basically, and you're living the high, and then after you're like, so what? What am I supposed to do next? How is that gonna go? And then the pressure goes down, and you get back on earth, and you're like, okay, what's next? And it was, for me personally, it was a little harder to get back on track. So I'm very curious to see how everybody bounced back and how it affects everybody. But the sleeping part, definitely feel this one.
We're now 3 months out from Paris, which is crazy. What are your hopes for the games itself?
Well, we want to win gold. We're on track. Hopefully our next tournament, how we do will depend a lot on how we'll do in the Olympic. But my goal is just to be at my peak performance. Like I want to be like the best rugby player that I can be at that moment, obviously. Yeah, but ultimately I want us to win gold, at least top 3, whether it be gold, silver, or bronze. And I think we can do it if we just stay focused. Like we can do it. It's just like you have to lock in and be focused. And it's hard to do that as a team because you have to make sure everyone's on the same page. So it's just hard to predict, but that's our goal.
You just mentioned you're a team sport, and I'm personally a single skater, so I don't know what it's like to handle such an event with like teammates and people that you go with.
As a team, what makes it really hard is that we have to all be on the same page. You have to make sure everyone is like, okay. And we're all not going to feel good at the same time. So it's like we all have to just go back to our same value of like work ethic. We know no matter how we feel, we're going to put in the work. Holding each other accountable is really important. We do like basically, like I said, we have a sports psychologist. So we do a lot of stuff together where we all have this collective goal that we're going to focus on for this game. And like if everyone's focusing on that, then like ultimately we should be good.
So we talked a little bit about Paris. Women's sports are absolutely having a moment right now. We're trying to make that moment be every day. What are your hopes for the future of women's sports?
The basketball girls are already putting women in sports on the map. Like we could see that like going up, the views going up, the hype going up. And I wish that will happen for rugby as well, specifically. And I think social media is just going to be our biggest pathway for it. It's like us, not only the work that we do behind the scenes, but like getting people to see and learn more about our sport. And hopefully that comes naturally. Like if we do well, we perform well, we win a gold medal, like people will know who we are.
In France, rugby is actually one of the main sports that is watched, more than 15. But since it's like in France, it's more like men that we're seeing playing. We have women also that are actually really good too. But is that something that has ever been challenged or hurdle?
Of course. Like, people are still confused that women play rugby. Even my own grandma, she's just like, that's such a rough sport. Why are you playing it? Like, you're a girl, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, you're just feeling women's side. But, like, yeah, people don't see women as being rough. Like, we're not supposed to be rough. I feel like every girl probably has, like, a rough side to them. If, like, I don't know. I grew up that way. And I think that's a part of my message, too, for girls. Is like, you can play rough sports. You can not like girls out doing it. You can, not that there's anything wrong with that. And even if I did, like, I don't get why everyone's so concerned. But yeah.
I totally feel you, because for me, it's the opposite, actually. I'm in figure skating.
Yeah.
So it's a very feminine, I'm more of a tomboy. I like to be fast, rough sometimes. And I used to play soccer when I was younger. I love to be a goalie, stuff like that. And sometimes it's just hard to just be yourself. I'm like, why can't I just keep my personality and just do whatever sport I'm in?
What are the things that people get wrong about rugby players and women rugby players in particular? So you already mentioned the sexuality piece.
People probably think, like, because you play rugby, you like to fight, or like you'll like beat somebody up. I hate when people say that. Like, me personally, probably. Okay. But some of my teammates, they're really... So my teammates would like literally never even, like, if you punched them, they probably would just like cry.
All right, we're asking everyone what they want to say to their fellow Olympians competing this summer, who you're gonna meet. What do you got a message from?
Oh my gosh, good luck. Do not fold under pressure, Team USA. I want us to come strong this year, all of us, to do well. But yeah, just believe in your preparation. Stay in the moment while you're there. Don't get distracted by everything, and just stay focused.
Thanks for tuning into Flame Bearers.
If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us along on social media for more behind-the-scenes exclusive content on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever social platform you are on. Thank you, and stay tuned for our upcoming episode.